The UK is prepared to back this with boots on the ground and planes in the air. Together with others. Europe must do the heavy lifting.
That is what I am talking about, Keir Starmer. That was the Prime Minister of the UK saying that he will go boots on the ground in order to combat Vladimir Putin's imperial ambitions, and that's what we need. Putin and Moscow can't have a monopoly on the escalatory rhetoric, meaning we can't let Russia be the only ones making threats, threatening to drop nukes or to invade or to take it farther. The UK, Europe, the United States even, we have to show that we are serious as well. We have to show that we are serious about protecting Ukraine's land, and that's what Europe did today. They show that they are serious, and in doing so, they actually show that the United States, mainly Trump and the Republicans, are completely unserious. They are unreliable. They are completely out of touch with reality and out of touch with America's own allies. Let me run you down what happened. In London, there was a meeting between a bunch of European leaders and one non-European leader, Justin Trudeau. And I'll talk about why that's important in a second, but some people are saying we may be witnessing the birth of a new Europe, and we owe it to one man, President Zelensky. He showed the whole world Trump's submission to Putin, and Trump also undermined the US's credibility, because what does it say when we're posturing towards our neighbor to the north, Canada, and then Canada gets invited to this EU summit, but the United States doesn't? They are pushing Trump out into the cold. They are freezing him out because he's only shown time and time again that he's got more allegiance to Vladimir Putin in Russia than our Western allies for some reason. I mean, the US voted along with Russia and North Korea against Ukraine, saying that Russia was never actually aggressive. We voted against Ukraine with North Korea, which is wild, but I want to run you down what happened, because European leaders did host a summit, and again, they took control of the escalatory rhetoric again. And when I'm saying escalatory rhetoric, I don't mean that we should be escalating into dropping nukes on them, but when Vladimir Putin's the only one who can make threats and who can scare the West or European countries, then we're not in a good spot. We gain leverage from showing them that we're serious, that we will go boots on the ground, and that Article 5 is still intact. Article 5 of NATO is still intact, and countries will respond if Russia goes any further, or if they don't pull out soon. So I think it's incredibly important that European leaders are shoring up support. This reads, EU leaders host summit to support Ukraine after Oval Office dust up. And I want to go through some of the other reactions and some of the arms that are being pledged, because Keir Starmer, for example, doing a great job, pledged £1.6 billion or $2 billion to finance 5,000 air defense missiles. I'm just going to say it, not enough. We need more supplies. It's never going to be enough. And that's also part of having escalatory rhetoric, showing Russia that you have an endless amount of weapons to send over, even if it's not quite true. Now, this tweet reads, "This is a powerful display of solidarity and unity in Europe, a watershed moment for diplomacy and European security. Nearly all of Europe, including the UK, has rallied behind Ukraine, a moment for reflection across the big and nice pond." We do need to be reflecting a little bit. Let me play a little bit of this, because there's nothing in the audio other than just music and stuff, but all of the world leaders are standing around. And I do find it interesting that Justin Trudeau is the only non-European leader. Again, you guys see the irony there, right? You guys see the irony in Trump constantly bullying Trudeau. And then Trudeau gets invited to the cool kids table over in Europe. It's like the loser of your high school class constantly bullying all the people who are sitting at the cool table. I just don't know why Trump is trying to alienate these people. But as I play this clip even more, you see all of the world leaders standing around for their photo shoot with their respective flags in the background. Oh, quick snap zoom onto Zelensky's face. And then as they walk away, you know what I find kind of funny? Well, Zelensky talks to a few world leaders, but I find this display right here quite hilarious. Check this out. Zelensky and Trudeau, probably talking about how much of a little bitch Trump is, to be honest, but Zelensky and Trudeau walking around together. These are two men that Trump has bullied a lot over the past few months. So it's incredibly interesting to see them together at the cool kids table at this meeting when Trump is not there. If we continue to read some of this, Justin Trudeau said, "I'm in London this morning working with President Zelensky, Prime Minister Starmer, and European leaders to bring about a just and lasting peace in Ukraine, one that guarantees Ukraine's sovereignty and security. It's so simple. It's so simple. Any peace deal without security guarantees is only a piece of paper. I don't know, did someone else say that or did I come up with that? Because that's very catchy. A peace deal without security is only a piece of paper, whatever the hell you want to say, because Vladimir Putin has a habit of reinvading, of invading a country, pausing it, then reinvading. He breaks peace deal after peace deal after peace deal. It's very easy to see. And, Trump had this wild comment in the Oval Office where he was like, what if Putin reinvades? Oh, what if a bomb drops on my head? As if Putin reinvading isn't very, very likely, and as if it's not a pattern that has been done time and time again. Fred Guttenberg said, as we wake up this morning, one guy is golfing at Mar-a-Lago, another is on a skiing vacation in Vermont, that was J.D. Vance, and then the only guy who is working to defend Ukraine, America, democracy, and freedom is today meeting with European leaders before going back to a war zone. Zelensky is a hero. And while all of these European leaders are meeting together, what the US is facing is Russia celebrating our new radical foreign policy shifts. Because, by the way, Putin's spokesperson today, Dmitry Peskov, said that he is very, very happy that the US foreign policy now coincides with Moscow's worldview. And I guess that worldview is that it's okay to have imperial ambitions and take over your next door neighbors and expand your territory because there's no real international rules. It's all disgusting. And I'm glad to see Trump kind of getting thrown out in the rain. Now, the question is, does Trump really care that European leaders are hosting a summit without him? Not really, but I'm sure a lot of Republicans care. Americans should care that we're so isolationist. We're essentially just going back 100 years. It's like every single vital lesson that was learned from World War II about alliances, about national security, about invasions, about peace deals and bad faith actors. Every single lesson we've learned has been thrown under the bus or has just been completely wiped away. That's why history is important, but I digress. I do find it incredibly interesting to see these world leaders together. And let me just say what I said at the beginning of the video. This shows that other world leaders view the US as a joke. There's a seismic shift in global power dynamics where the US leader went from kind of like an old dude with a steady hand on foreign policy who you could trust, to an old dude who's unreliable, unserious, out of touch with America's allies, out of touch with reality. And now Europe is trying to step up to fill the leadership vacuum that Trump has created. And, I really think Europe should have probably started having a contingency plan a while back on, what if Trump gets elected? What if the US is no longer a reliable partner? What do we do then? And I'm not going to be surprised if we see new alliances being created. I mean, what if all of these countries, all of these world leaders, Canada included, decide to start a new alliance that is kind of like NATO, but a little bit updated? That means Trump isolated the US in a very, very harmful way. That means his public clashes with Zelensky in the Oval Office, his clashes with all of these leaders, well, many of them, like Trudeau. He was nice to Starmer for some reason because Starmer, I gave him a gift or whatever. That means that he isolated America and he eroded decades of foreign policy, but you guys already know that. Drop a like, subscribe. Thank you all for 1 million. Let's continue to show our support for Ukraine, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.